All right. ठीक है. Yeah. Thank you, Deepak, for this beautiful Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming here. So, first thing which I would like to ask you is who is Deepak?
Okay. Good morning, by the way. And yeah, I was looking forward for today morning. Morning is something that I see as, I mean, I wake up at 6 and then it's like, oh, that's a great morning. Um, who is Deepak is a big question. Yeah. So because
Yeah.
maybe core Deepak is same, but
Yeah.
the lot of layers which uh, has keeps evolving, and maybe that's the part I like. Um, so who is the Deepak? Wait, if I have to describe now,
Tell me,
um,
tell me the layer part first, and then we can touch upon the core part, core aspect of Deepak.
yeah, and in the current form, right?
Yeah, whatever you feel like.
Okay.
Like, like we say, right? We ask, yeah, this is Deepak, meet
Mhm.
him, and
Okay.
then just say that the way you are saying to people, and then we can touch upon the core part later.
Yeah, yeah, got it. So I'll start something because I am a professional, so probably most things that I describe is how who I am professionally, and then I'll also touch upon who I am in my daily life and who I am, when I'm sometimes I'm like just chilling, then who I am there. So I work in IT industry. It's been around 11 plus years. I have been working, and this is where I have built my career, and it has shown me so many things to me. And maybe it also showed me the path how did I get connect with you. So a gratitude there, um, to the industry, to the world, which has offered an opportunity where you can perform, you can
Yeah.
think. So that's how I start, and then my journey, as I come from a background where um, people are very slow. It used to be, at least. And then so that is a place in Bihar where um, life is still slow, but maybe people are not slow. Um, and I come to Bangalore, got my first job, and then I'm here till then.
Yeah.
And then it keeps changing. So I see that. So I'm here, and then I'm working something on a different thing, and then it keeps changing, and then there may be a lot of things are not changing.
Yeah.
So um, so that's a brief about who I am professionally. If I'm not professionally working, and if I'm not in that mood, so I'm a calm guy nowadays, very calm, very normal. So that's how I should describe. I have a wife, and now when I say that I don't do when I'm not working, actually I'm not working. So I will be listening to my wife most of the time, and if I and then I sometimes I'll be cooking, and then we enjoy a lot because it gives me an opportunity where I can create something amazing, some recipes. So I'm really amazing at cooking, by the way.
Hmm.
I love that part of it, um, and we do it like we enjoy it together. One example is my wife has egg allergy, and she cannot have chicken burger outside because they always put egg in the patty. So
Hmm.
I made a recipe so nice that I mean, both of us, like, we don't eat burger outside. We do it at home. I make it. Uh, and then
Yeah.
I read a lot. So that is the so I'm a reader, the core part. What keeps changing the layering is, so I was reading because I thought I had to read. I had to read 30 books in a year. I
Hmm.
set some kind of goals, like I had
Mm.
in college. I want to read a lot of novels. Not sure why. I just have to read, kind of. Maybe to improve my English. Maybe that was the purpose, kind of. So I've been reading from college, and then when I came to my professional journey, I keep reading a lot of stuff.
Mm.
Mostly books where I can learn something. Um, Initially, there were a lot of fictions, but now after fiction, I made also my way to non-fiction, and then from I have to read 20 books to a point I have come where I can read one book multiple times if I
Mm.
want to. So it's like if I pick up a book, is it something that I'm connected with?
Yeah.
Is it something where every page that I have, I feel my connection there? So it's about one book or maybe five book. I don't know. So I read books. That's what I'll say. I'll not say, oh, I wrote this much books in it. I just read book, and then
Yeah.
that's one change that in the variable part. Um, and then I drive. I love driving, so I can drive like whole day. And um, so again, that thing again, the core part was I always loved to drive, um, but there was a part which came drive for a destination, and then
Mm.
I will only enjoy reaching the destination faster. And now I cherish the moment, all the moment between from where I start till we reach, and the journey between, and maybe looking outside here and there, both sides of the road, see how things are. So that's where, and then other than that, I'll not call myself a mountaineer, but I have been I had a lot of mountains. So I've done quite some treks. So some of where um, I'll feel myself exceptionally well in terms of fitness. So I'll challenge myself doing that. And I also realized when I challenged, the feel was amazing. Whatever triggered it, maybe the challenge, but reaching
Mm.
the top, it's something that I like, and that was amazing.
Mm.
Maybe that will also segue to why I wanted to work on my mind, because the core part is same. Core is where it enjoyed being exceptional, being on
Yeah.
top,
Yeah.
and so maybe that brief about who I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah. This is so beautifully explained, Deepak. Like I can't imagine someone would explain who are you in such a detailed level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned something. How did we met? So I'm curious to know. Um, how did you got in touch with me? Actually, just tell me a quick
Uh,
brief about that.
that's a good question, by the way. I mean, that's the one of also intention. How what had changed. Like I was doing good. Um,
Mm.
what maybe something was missing, and then like otherwise you won't connect with someone without without a change, right? So there would have been a change somewhere happened. Uh, so I had heard about that people work on mind. Um, I also somehow know that everything is a persona of your mind. How do you see it? And so I was talking with my one of my close friend. His name is Prasant. We are so I mean we started our work together in Amazon, and then um, I'm like kind of connected to him professionally as well as personally a lot, because we don't talk much, but whenever we feel any bottleneck, any life situations, then we come together and discuss. And then that time we will have time for both of us. Like we have all the time for both of us, even though we don't talk daily. So one sudden meetup, and then we started talking about life, how it has been going, and then how great it has been and everything. And suddenly it came up with, hey, we have been working good. We have been reaching top. exceptionally performing it. And do you feel like there is a gap in the middle somewhere? It's like uh, from you start getting question like, why do I have to do something? Like, do I have to do this? Um, kind of questions. We say, and then we also question, hey, we used to like it, right? We were always wanted to do something, and then what has changed? Like, uh, it feels like I'm being pulled by something, and
mm,
not I'm not the driver, but I'm being driven by something. And these
mm,
questions were something very deep. Like me, I was always a driver. I will drive myself. I will
mhm,
reach somewhere, and then suddenly I feel like I'm also being pulled, which is like not a good feel. And the other thing that I described is where you feel like you don't want to do this, you have to do this kind of stuff. And then I saw that maybe that's the mind stuff. So then all this stuff, and then he told me that, hey, do you know about these things? I mean, I was talking to this guy, Kapil. He said, um, uh, I mean, and then he can help. We help the way we think. Um, so the way we
mm,
think everything, if he can help differently, like you can do the same thing, um, and then do it differently. Maybe it's just a mind stuff, right? So I was like kind of curious. Oh, is it like I'm still doing the same thing? I'm still being exceptional, but with want tools, right? Like I want to do something, and then I'm driving myself. And then on top of it, we had also gone through phases where the time started reducing in life, and
mm,
usually that's a pattern I have seen in many people. Uh, in this journey, your time will be reducing. Like you feel like your time is now less. You have a lot of things to do, and you have very
mm,
less time for yourself or your family, all this stuff. Um, and and I find him happy there. Like it's a chaos, right? And he was like, I'm quite happy now. And I was like, wow, and that is a change that I clicked me. Like being in chaos, which I could not think it can be dealt with. Dealt something with a result, with just a mind work. So you have a lot of work to do. You have a chaotic work situation. You have a chaotic family, chaotic everything, and then still you are able to calm down yourself, slow down, and navigate the way you are driving. Even there are a lot of factors which eventually can pull you. So those factors still there,
mm,
but you are still able to navigate. And I could see the result. That was the most important part. Like same guy having in my situation, or maybe the worst situation, maybe, and now being happy in a happy state that what, I have prioritized my life well. I know what to do at what time, and I'm
mm.
happy. I have all the time now, and that's something that clicked me. That's something right. Something there is something that we can work upon with the right guidance.
Yeah.
And then I was like, uh, and then I was like, I had my own resistance. Like, hey, should I? I mean, why should I do that? Like, kind of, it doesn't. Maybe I'll try myself. Something kind
Sorry,
of.
sorry. Why should I do what?
Why should I talk to someone called Kapil and think about like maybe these things are like not for me, kind of all
Mm,
these questions you'll get, right? Some kind of resistance that. And like, we can always try. Maybe just have one session and just talk, and then see how it goes.
mm,
And then you had pinged me, and then we had chat. We had a session, and there I found that you were listening again. And then I was like, and I could see that there are some cases where the way I was speaking, right? I could see a reflection, the way I was speaking, the way I was. Uh, it's a usual thing where we hurry up, we don't think much, we don't rest,
yeah.
and I knew that there is a solution, and then it can be improved. Uh, so that's how I met you, and
Sure.
that's how I went ahead.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
if that
All
answers up.
right. Yes, yes, yes. It does very much. Thank you. Thank you. So I do have certain, I mean, what you're talking is so many details of
Hmm.
this conversation. So you've already started to open some wisdom in this
Yeah.
conversation. So
Hmm.
before I even ask that question, you have talked about book reading. You have talked about you have been a mountaineer, right? And
Hmm.
these are the two profound qualities which I have seen in you. But
Hmm.
what I am interested in this conversation, and probably you would see that as yes as well. That's what I'm thinking. That what is your what was your idea when after you meet with me, like in a brief 1 or 2 lines, and then we will talk about that in subsequent question. What really happened after that? Like I remember, like one of the things, if I have to just say that, in our first conversation, like first conversation where we were professionally engaged, where you have asked about like, okay, what's in like these are the things which we have discussed in our conversation, like what what kind of career I am looking for. You are well established person, right? And then you were looking for what kind of career I need to see as an end outcome, right? So I think you were somewhere looking for some clarity,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
And I was also looking at in the second conversation, something has flipped. So I'm curious to know what happened between session one and session two, where you started seeing something very profoundly, and suddenly things start to vanish.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
get what I'm trying to?
Yes. Yes. That's a good one. So it did change, and I do want to talk about it. So in the first conversation, not the session, when we had,
Hmm.
just the first one where we met,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
one of the things that got me is I'm so happy living extraordinary life. That's the core inside me, and I feel good about it. Why not? And one of the thing that we talked and it came to is like, how about we live extraordinary life every day? So if
Hmm.
you live a life which you call extraordinary every moment, and then that becomes
Hmm.
extraordinary life every day, and it's like, and then you'll not have
Hmm.
any, I mean, you'll not even think about regrets because you are living every moment. So extraordinary life clicked me, because I was doing something, I was doing a lot of things which I think it is something exceptional, and I'm so happy about it. And
Hmm.
I wanted to say, how can I do replicate the same thing all the time? So I'm exceptional all the time. And
Hmm.
that's how I moved ahead. That point of time, I was not thinking about career when I'm thinking about living extraordinary life. And when we met in our first discussion, something comes up. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe this is the time. And then this is where it was also a narrow thinking from my side a bit, which is okay. It's all right.
Hmm.
So that was like, okay, let's think from the career point of view because that comes first, right? That's how we have been
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's why I introduced myself professionally first. So,
Hmm.
so it's like, let's see what a like. Do I have clarity on my career? Is it something? I can I do something more extraordinary there? So all this came up
Hmm.
in the first session.
Yeah.
Mostly started with
Hmm.
career, and later it vanished. And I think that was the right thing to do because I found something. Um, so I found something more open, something more, I'll say, wisdom, where all these things are very narrow. And
Hmm.
if you can create something that what you want, right? Then what you want to become, and then working on a small thing. For me, it's like, if you can do anything, if you can make anything possible, right? And people can. So why to limit at certain things, certain things, like I want to be this. Sure, if
Hmm.
I want, I will always be. But so there is more fundamental things that I discovered, and it helped a lot. So that's like, oh, then, oh, I don't have to chase small goals. Like, I want to do that, I want to do this, right? So I have
Hmm.
some skill that I discovered during our session, um which with that I could do anything. It's up to me what I want to do in this today moment. maybe in this 1 hour. Today is a Sunday. What I can do today, right? Or what I can do in a year. That's up to me. But if I have the power of creating anything, then
Mm.
it's more fundamental, right? Like all I have to do is think from inside something that I want to, and then I'll accomplish it. And not like I have to, I want all this stuff. So I discovered something fundamental, more fundamental,
Yeah.
that I can
So
talk
this
to
is
people
how,
how the
yeah,
conversation goes. But that's what the change, that why I stopped, looking into narrow, like I wanted to be at this in professional life.
yeah,
And I was like, that is like you can always be.
yeah. So if I have to just recall that something from our conversation, I remember um, what we talked about it. I'm a technology enthusiast and scientist. I solve problems and create solutions and inventions. This is how we, I think, ended up our first
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah,
And that is why I was just jumping on second conversation before explaining the details, because I was also curious what really shifted in you. Like you said that I discovered something
yeah,
when you started ignoring things like goals
yeah,
and, like, small achievements in the life, and started looking at life at big picture
yeah,
view.
yeah,
And when you started looking life at big picture view, something shifted in you.
yeah,
It Who you were doing stopped mattering, and who
yes,
you're being start.
yeah.
uh, so tell me more about that. Like what precisely you discovered in that moment. You must have got some click or insight.
Yes. So all these things about who I want to be, thinking about, right? Like to thinking too much about who I want to be. Um, like I started like I was start thinking about who I want to be in my professional career, and
Mm,
in the first conversation itself, we started making it. If you remember, we started making it more open. So saying that no, don't restrict yourself to maybe a technology problem. So let's say you solve any problem, so you are a problem solver kind of, which helped again going towards the fundamental that.
yeah.
Uh, and then a few things came up where so I was doing well, and professionally I never had a bottleneck. I can always
Mm,
myself and all kind of do anything. So I was like, okay, it's just a mindset shift. I say I'm a problem solver, I solve any problems, this is good. um, but then I also realize in, so I'm always good in tech professionally, I'm very good. What was bothering, what I wanted to change is, I talked about, so life is full of chaos, right? Like there are a lot of
mm,
ropes that pulling you, and maybe
mm,
you also don't want those ropes to go, right? Because you love your family so much, you love your parents, you love your life so much, you love your friends, so definitely you don't want to go let go those.
mm,
how do you
mm,
how do you establish a balance? And more importantly, I wanted to have control on what I think,
mm,
like I and then I because we started our conversation, right? So I was so ready for putting effort into it, otherwise I would not
mm,
have said yes. I wanted to take
mm,
this as something where I am going to work on my mind with the right guidance. And you
mm.
get that openness where we had good amount of time between our session. So I was like, uh, and I'll be very open. You used to send me all these WhatsApp conversation, and then one video that came up uh, for
Tom
two,
Chi?
no, that came later. So
Okay.
uh, Dance Sullivan,
Yeah, Dan Sullivan book. Yeah, Benjamin Hardy's book. Yeah, Gap in the Gain. Yes.
Yes, Dr. Benjamin Hardy. So he talked about how gap and gain works, right?
Yeah.
And if you remember, I asked you in when you called me after the first conversation, like how it's going and all this, and I was like, ask this question: Hey, how do you celebrate a small victory?
I
And
remember.
just like one question, I could achieve big things, but how do you celebrate every day, every hour, right?
Mhm.
And you told that look at the gains, just like no matter
Yeah.
how far you have to go, like today you gain something, right? Every day we gain something, everyone gains something, everyone, everywhere, right? and we don't look at that, and it's so fundamental. Like, just look at the gain and stop looking at the gaps. Maybe keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Like, keep it here somewhere subconsciously, but look at the gain and celebrate it, because this is an
Yeah.
achievement. Feel gratitude about it. And I was like,
Mm.
oh my goodness, like, is it? I mean, all the way I was not looking at the gains. Maybe I was looking at
Mm.
the gains only at certain moment and not every time, all the time.
Mm.
And that clicked me so much. And then you wouldn't believe, like, what is it? You just said one word, kind of, right? One sentence, maybe. It changed me
Mm.
fundamentally a lot. Like,
Mm.
oh, just with a small thing, thinking slow fundamentally, I can celebrate. And then I started celebrating everything, just looking at the
Mm.
small gains I had and not thinking too much, right? So I got this book, never I started, and then certain, and then I started looking more fundamental stuff again. So I read the book,
Mm.
2 chapters. I'll read it someday again, but so I was investing in myself. So I got this, and then I also got some more books. So it's like whatever you, and then I was like, I was paying too much attention, and this helped a lot. The gain and the gap. Um, and then I was like, what fundamental more, right? What is the more fundamental things? So
Yeah.
one thing came up is you're getting how I was going, right? Like, one fundamental thing was helped. One fundamental thing, looking at the gain, helped me achieving so many things.
So many things. Yeah.
So many things. Just one fundamental thing. Then I was like, oh, these are small. Worrying about who I want to be in professional life and kind of. Let's look at more fundamental. And then the things came up is like how to not think too much, like being normal, being in the present, and then thinking.
Mm.
So I came across this another
Yeah.
book, Joe Dispenza, and I had all the time I had this book. I never looked into it,
Mm.
and after our
Mm.
discussion, I think I suddenly, because I found that as a gem, the gap and the game stuff that you mentioned. I was like, there will be more gems hidden. Maybe I don't know. And then I
Yeah.
picked up that book, and it talks about being in present, like not thinking too much. That's what I got, and maybe somehow it clicked. Maybe I think too
Yeah.
much. Maybe it's like hurrying up too much and not just thinking. And then
Mm.
and that's how this is how it started shifting. And our conversation, like for example, you brought up one thing. It's like we're open conversation, and you said about how you used to get angry in traffic. Um, all this bike, you said that you hit one like with your leg, and I was like, oh my god, I also get frustrated in traffic. Like, what is it? Um, and then it's like you talked about all this, right? Forgiveness,
Yeah.
giving something, like,
Yeah.
um, open to give. Receiving comes
Yeah.
as a separate part. That's not your thing to take. Keep giving. And again, that was a. I don't know how it works for me. It again was a fundamental gem. It helps,
Mm.
like giving, right? And just giving away to others. I'll describe you how it helped specifically. So all this, I was not being, with only this thing called giving, and just forgiving people, no matter what they do. In traffic, I'm not being. I see people, pulling each other. I've seen people pushing each other, right? Yes. That's the traffic signal does. I discovered yesterday the traffic signal, the number it comes,
Mm. Mm.
the way it counts, it pulls you to come fast, right? And you feel bad when it becomes red, and then wait for when it will become green. All the people are being pulled. Someone pushing you by honking and all those. I'm like, hey, I'm normal. I don't want to push and pull. So
Mm.
the timer reset, right? It will come up again, and I don't look at
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm okay, green, red, just the normal thing, kind of. So that's why I started shifting to fundamentals, because one fundamental has potential to make lot of problems go. Like,
Yeah.
so my
Yeah.
attention.
So I think you are, yeah, I think what you're talking about is the current situation. Now, in the second, I remember in the second conversation, you said something like, "My thinking is linked with past and the present, and I wanted to
Uh,
go from present to future." Right?
huh. Yeah.
So you realize something. So I think you are
Yeah.
talking about some aspect of that here already.
Yeah. Correct. These are all related. That's why I kept discovering it
Yeah.
in our conversation as well as whatever I was doing at homework. So,
Mm,
and then I asked you this question in one of the uh, conversations. Hey, Kapil, how do you keep yourself in present all the time?
mm,
And you were like, not much. Like, they're very normal rules, like be feel gratitude and be forgiving nature, right? Be thankful to everyone. And these are again, it came back to the all fundamental stuff. And with
mm,
this, you being in present. So, and the benefit of being in present, I found out is it also relates with gaps and gain.
mm,
I was creating, and everyone I've seen multiple people create problem which has not happened. So
mm.
looking at the gaps is what you're looking
Mhm.
at something future which has not happened, and
Has
not
not
looking at
happened.
what is there in the present. So I was, um,
Mm.
so by present, I was looking at the gain and not looking at
By
what will
being
happen.
into the by being
Yes.
into the present, you were
Yeah.
looking at what really happened and how far you have come, and that
Yeah.
has made you feel centered, peaceful.
Hmm. So,
Yeah.
so gap and gain to me now started looking at a less fundamental, and more fundamental part was like, okay, so this is the present moment. I am here. I am working. I am making things move. Future will happen someday, but I'm not thinking about
Mm.
future. Lord, I'm celebrating what is
Mm.
here. Now,
Mm.
the gains that I had achieved, gains whatever I had achieved, how do I not restrict myself to only those gains? Like how, like the way how I got it by not being
Mm.
biased by it, right? So past, present, so everything is past, everything is present. I'm so happy that it happened. I celebrated. Next day is again present. So I'm not being
Mm.
biased by the gains that I achieved, and not also looking of about the gap by being in present. So um and it helps so much every time. Like the example I was giving today when we started discussing, like when I was driving, why do I
Yeah.
need to go that far? I am in Bangalore. I am in somewhere just cross Bangalore. That's the moment there. Yeah. So being present, being in present was another fundamental thing. And
Yeah.
so how to be there? It's a constant. I think it's a continuous effort, continuous thinking. And I think you did a very nice talk there that thoughts will come. Your past is not going to go anywhere. That will be there. So you just don't get biased by the past, and being open towards the future is the key, because your skills are past, whatever you have achieved. So it also help the past helps you move forward if you're open towards future. So not restricting yourself the past, using whatever good you have got, and being open towards future is something I like very much. This is something one of the most fundamental thing I discovered.
Yeah. Now I'm going to read something profound. I remember we discussed on Deepak 10.0, and I
Mm,
also, it was somewhere happened in second conversation,
mm.
but in the last conversation or the second last conversation, I asked you the same question. You said it's not required.
Yeah.
So, let me read that for you. I realized that Deepak 10.0 has the same characteristic as a runner and a technical scientist. And with the same characteristic, he can be anything. He can achieve anything and create anything. This is a very powerful statement which you have written,
Yeah.
right? So tell me more about what is the story of Deepak 10.0 and how he evolved from Deepak 10.0 to Deepak
Anything.
X.0, right?
Yeah.
And then what really happened there? What is that shift?
Hmm. So I discovered with this openness about future and not being biased
Mm.
by past, I started
Mm.
practicing it. I mean, nothing is without practice. It's all in theory, right? So you need to also practice, put it to manifestation. It has to manifest somewhere. And I applied, and it was mostly apply your theory in somewhere you will be struggling, right? So um, one of the things that I applied in running. Um, so running, I was a runner. I've run 6+ marathons, full marathons, and then count. I don't know, maybe 50, 40, 50 half marathons, or I don't know how many 10Ks. So hundreds of plus. But
Mm.
every time I will do a marathon, I will relax. And the inertia, I mean, somewhere it's like I also had this in my mind that am I a runner? If I am, then why do I have to prepare for it? Why do I go into a state where it doesn't feel nice and then I again start from scratch? And
Mm.
I will always register a marathon long back, and then when the date comes near, then I start working on it. Like, so I was again chasing the goal. So which I do want to now change. Like, this is who I am. This is the being. I'm being a runner. Then why do I have to chase a goal? I mean, why do I have to
Mm.
register a marathon to run? I can run on my way.
Mm.
I should be happy running 1 kilometer. I should just be happy running any kilometer, right? It doesn't have to be,
Mm.
satisfaction should not be controlled by a marathon community or whoever is registering, starting those events. Uh, so I started there. I used to, set up alarm and then wake up, and then keep thinking, keep the motivation up in my head that um, let's go running. I'm picturing that I'm going to running while I'm doing a toothbrush because I'm worried that it will lose. And then I was like, I'll wake up, and then whatever time it is, if I I want to run today, I'll go and run. I will not think. And for example, if I have not run for 10 days, then I will never have problem. For example, I'm not running for last 5 6 days. I didn't go in the morning for a run schedule, and I'm perfectly fine. I don't care. I'm a runner. What has changed? Nothing, right? Just a time lapse. So I can still go and run, maybe slow, maybe less, but this is
Mm.
inside me. It's not going away like the way it used to. Like, I was scared that, hey, I'm not run for a month, then I'm not. And this was like, I found that again, oh, this is like magic. Now I mean, for me it is a magic. So it's like I think about running and I can go and run. I just like need, maybe not, I don't even need a shoe. Like, so that fundamental shift tells me, and then it's like, so this, I am not limited to like I want to run this space, this kilometer, that kind of. It's inside me that I want to do.
Mm.
I want to do something, I'll achieve that control that I got. And
Mm.
in work, similar things. If I want to achieve something, it's not about keep constantly sitting on your monitor and keep somehow doing it. The things change. If something which I'm being a problem solver, then I will go deep into the problem, right? Forget about the time.
Mm.
And when I had seen in reality, like when you actually go inside, when you're actually being as a runner, and then it will not always be about, running. Like nowadays, it is not about like running. I just go, sometimes I feel like let me feel my body. Like why I am so much into like, you know, accomplishing today. What is the hurry about it? And I realize there is unnecessarily I'm hurrying that I accomplish something in a day. Like I to call myself that, hey, I ran, 5 kilometers. So sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like listening to my body. Right? Is it ready? Is it ready? Is the body saying that, hey, should you run? And then run that way. So again, very fundamental. And if I'm listening to my
Yeah.
body, I'm limitless here. Body tells me, body tells the limit, body tells the unlimit, whatever it is. So not the control of someone to tell, or maybe I'm telling myself that I run today. I don't have to wait for that. Um, I don't know where did I took the question, but
Yeah. No, no, that's okay. That's okay. You have answered that. So, I mean, what you're telling is, if I have to just summarize, who I am
Hmm.
being is more important than what I'm doing. Like if I'm a runner, I'm a runner. I don't need to create a milestone. I don't need to create bigger goals because running give me a satisfaction. So let me run it. I can
Yeah,
run anywhere. I can
yeah,
run in sea, near to sea beach. I can run in mountains. I
yeah.
can run anywhere, literally anywhere. Environment stop mattering to you. This is what you're telling me.
Hmm. It stops. Environment stops mattering to you, and you'll feel the true joy. And sometimes it's so minute that you will not observe it. Sometimes we environment is a very maybe a easy layer to remove. The one of is us. We have kept ourselves that hey, for ourselves that I ran 5 kilometer. I ran. We go to a mountain and we say that hey, I ran on mountain. So did I run just to saying to myself that I ran on mountain, or is it like I enjoyed doing that? Like I felt from inside. So it is little bit
Mm,
deep, and if you go that deep, and
yeah.
maybe you don't have to question yourself. Like you feel like it, do it. Don't feel like it, don't do it. Um,
Mm,
Discipline will come into picture. I'm not disagreeing with that. You should just leave it on yourself. But yeah, if you truly go there, you don't have to even discipline yourself to every day
yeah.
going and same time, same schedule. No, doesn't have to be right. It's just a rainy day today. There is no sun. I can go now. I mean, in the 12th afternoon, who is stopping?
I don't need to wake up in the morning, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why?
Yeah,
Like, in case if you are
yeah,
all in favor environment is there right now. Like, it looks like a rainy day.
yeah,
So, no sun, no heat. So,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Hmm.
And similar thing has happened, I believe, at work side also. When you said, "I'm a being a problem solver," right?
Hmm. Yeah,
The way
yeah,
you are being a runner, I'm being a problem solver. For that, do I necessarily need to have that environment where I'm being a scientist,
yeah,
or can I have a scientist mindset
yeah,
and solve the current problems of life, solve the current problems at work, solve everything?
yeah. And the key is very again same, right? Being present, right mindset. That anyway, I'm being. So I don't have to fight my mindset. I'm being problem
Yeah.
solver. I'm just being in present, and uh, when I'm working on something. So again, you mentioned again and again, right? Listening, and listening doesn't apply to only person. Like if I'm reading a book, am I listening? If I'm solving a problem,
Mm,
am I
mm,
looking into that? So sometimes, we don't look at and just hurry up, right? So if I'm not listening to a problem, how I'm expecting the solution from myself? So just
mm.
being lost in that, so much. Uh, that's it. That's the key.
This is so deep. Yeah. Listen to
Yeah.
everything, not just to people. Listen to your thoughts, listen to who you're being,
Mm, mm.
listen to your body, listen to everything, and then you see a wisdom there. I
Yeah, listen
think
to the
this is what,
problem. Right?
yeah,
Problems are nothing but again, I think we have discussed multiple problems are the opportunities. Bigger the problem, bigger the opportunity. And
opportunities. Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, if there is a problem, and maybe if I get most of the scenarios, people will be scared of the problem, so they're not listening, right? You are like in a survival mode, running away. And if you're just listening and thinking slowly, and again the slowdown comes into picture. All the I don't know how many such things, but slow down, listen, and you'll discover a solution. You'll always do.
Yeah.
It's like,
So all this is reminding me something deep in our conversation. You have been very fascinated since about superhumans. When you
hmm,
came for our conversation, coaching conversation, I remember you mentioned superhumans,
hmm,
and you had that book,
yeah,
I think, as well, right? Give me a glimpse of that. What was that mindset of being a superhuman? And do you feel, and this is very powerful, and you can reply that, do you feel you are being a superman now, superhuman now?
yeah. If a human is not limited, then that's a superhuman, right? Like not limited to anything. How it is true is So um, somehow I am myself example. So definitely I have seen people from the same place where I originated. I've met a lot of people in my life. So you will always know that you have something different, some super skills. Everyone has, maybe in a different way. And I've seen some people having some
Mm,
super skills. People do a lot of bike rides. There are people who done like iron birds. Like, oh my god, can you ride a bike for like 24 hours? So everyone has some super something. And
mm,
so when we call superhuman, it's all about, look, you do some of the super stuff maybe in some aspect of the life. So people have the key. I have the key. I'm doing it in some other way. So for example, when I was running my marathon, first marathon, I had a blister at 10 kilometer. I just did 10 kilometer, and then I was a lot itching pain in my shoes, and I was like, oh my god, this is something weird. And then I just sit down on the pavement, starting to undo my shoelace, and then see what it is. And then suddenly a thought came that no, not now. Don't do this right now. I don't know what it is. That's not the point, right? And then I left that, almost untied this shoelace, and then I tied it back and started running. Fast forward, completed the marathon, opened my shoes, and there was this big blister, and very big, scary. So I was asking myself, how can I run with a blister? I did.
mm.
So superhuman skill is there within everyone. It's all about, like, can you apply everywhere? The answer is yes, with the right mindset. Maybe by
Well
removing
said.
the limitation in us, right? If I can do in
Yeah.
running, how can I not do anywhere? Like, it's just a limitation that maybe we have put ourselves, that I can't do this. This is how it happens. This is the way. Uh, so Um, so superhuman is that skill, and why I started believing more and more is, so I had my core believed in it. I was doing it at certain extent.
Mm,
With our conversation, because a lot of things have started manifesting, right? Because um, I found the result, like the way I work, the way I run, the way my relationship became better. So I mean, I have not brought that up in the picture because this is just an implicit. I didn't even work on it. It's just implicit. So because I was there listening, I was there present, and it worked like a charm. Like, um, and then I think other guidance comes into picture. You said about loving exceptionally. That's like, oh my god, it's amazing word, loving unconditionally. But this came later, loving unconditionally, listening, being present. Um, so automatically all this, so I started seeing more of a like superhuman skill. These are superhuman skills. There was a
mm,
there was a chaos. You converted into a favorable environment. Someone who maybe someone who hates you, if you convert that into a love, then that's a favorable outcome, right? That's something you convert. That's super skill. So uh, all this fundamental concept, I was seeing more example of super skills. And
yeah.
um, so there are many books that talks about, how a normal person can be a superhuman, and all the it's all about the same thing. I mean, all this, to me, it looks at least similar, like being who you are, right mindset, slowing down, listening to the problem, listening to things that you want to listen to, you want to,
Mm,
whatever you are doing, maybe, right? Like, if I'm making a dough to make a good chapati, then if I'm listening to that, like, that level, like thinking that the dough is taking a shape, and I can
yeah.
feel it, right? And then it becomes so beautiful, and some people will say, hey, how you are able to make so nice dough? So come on, it's not super skill, it's just like you are being present there. When you're doing it, you are just thinking, where should it take more water, should it
Mm,
not? So
mm.
nothing
This
complex, I think.
is, yeah, this is extraordinarily amazing, Deepak. What
Hmm.
you're talking here is, super about being superhuman, and everybody has that skill, everybody has something unique in them.
Yeah.
And with that uniqueness, if they can be slowing down to the level in which the life is running,
Hmm.
actually,
Hmm.
like we generally consider life as like this
Yeah.
is like running right fast, but
Yeah.
actually the life is slow.
Correct. It is
And
very slow.
it's very slow, like it is in the moment, it is
Yeah.
in the moment. And when you started to live and listen to the
Hmm.
moment, small
Hmm.
moment, you
Hmm.
started feeling limitless,
Yeah.
that there is no limitation. You can go in, if you like to run, you can
Hmm.
go into the mountains at any level actually,
Yeah.
right? So this
Correct.
is what you're talking, and this is very, very deep. It is
Hmm.
almost like a magic. So
Yeah.
do you feel there is something profoundly shifted in you like a magic?
Hmm. It is. I mean, I don't. I feel it. Everyone around feels me.
Tell me more about that.
I mean, the closest person is my wife, so she is like, wow. And it's not easy. I mean, it's not. It's not like sudden shift. I mean, maybe I have
Yeah.
shifted. Maybe I have become slow, but
Mm.
uh, the ecosystem will recognize. But you cannot say that, hey, I have found a magic, and then let everyone shift. Let everyone. So again, you should be slow. Like,
Mm.
and expectations should not be there, right? Because there is no expectation. Okay, something changed. I'm happy about it, and then you let the change reflect. Just be patient there also, not like forcing
Mm.
something. So the
Mm.
environment, let the environment take their own time to change. For example,
Mm.
um, uh, example could be like, so if for example, my family, my wife, for example, my sister, if they're seeing a change in me, it doesn't mean that you keep forcing a change in them, like that
Mm.
you recognize that I have changed. No, again, you are just giving, right? That's what I told. So whatever you are, if you are changed, if you are becoming slow, so let people observe at their own pace, their own.
Mm.
And you also told me, I think, if I remember, that sit with the problem, not solve it. Like, don't hurry up to solve it. Like, why? Why there is a hurry? If there is a hurry, uh, maybe you are not listening to the problem, right? Like, kind of. So
Mm.
there are problems. There has been some the way we have been driven, right, by others. It creates side impacts. Like, it creates less time in the family, less, more chaotic. Maybe you are not listening to your parents, not calling
Yeah.
them, kind of. Uh, but when I discovered, okay, this is magic that is happening in me, I'm able to listen to themselves. I'm allowing time for them to,
Mm.
observe the change, and they're able to see it because I'm not again doing this hurrying up stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
asking them, hey, have I am changed? Do you see it? Like, uh, kind of. So
Because
that
you're
is.
doing it for yourself, because you're doing it for yourself. And then when you see that slowness in your life,
Hmm,
everything becomes slow and you are
yeah,
being present, and then you can listen to anyone
yeah. I
or to
think
the problems.
slowness is the key. I mean,
Slowness is the key.
things
Yeah.
are moving so fast. It's not moving so fast. Maybe you are also in that loop running fast. So you things everything looks like running fast.
Yeah.
So slowing down could be the key. I don't know. Maybe that could be the only. Maybe slowing down itself is the only key that you need.
Yeah, this is something emerging in this conversation. Now,
Yeah.
tell me, most people, what I have seen is, or many
Mm.
people, sometimes they misunderstand this slowness in their life. Like, I'm a fast guy. Why are you asking me to slow? So, what is your outlook about this, and how did you basically change? Was that your outlook as well before?
The definition of fast. I mean, definitely, I've been doing fast things. I mean, I wanted to accomplish faster things fast.
Yeah, things
Fast
fast.
is
Yeah.
always there. It's always there. Fast.
Hmm.
But like, why? Where are you running to? See, I mean,
Mm,
someday you'll have to, because the reason why also I came into walking on my mind is because the fast took me somewhere where I started thinking back, and you start questioning yourself, like, how is it helping in any way?
mm,
And then you also realize that doing slow could also result in something maybe more beautiful. So fast could get you something, maybe, definitely you'll get, if you're running fast to get something, you'll get it.
mm,
But maybe you only get something that you are targeted to, and there are a lot of
mm.
things on the way. Lot of things on the way. Simple example, right? I was running, so when I will drive or ride bike, I
Mm,
reach that destination running fast. Oh, I reached faster, I reached there, but then what? Found finally you got to your destination, then what? And then you lost a lot of way, lot of things on the way. There's so many beautiful things on the way. So if I slow down, um, I I'm not saying to stop. Like, you keep moving, you discover new things. Discovery, right? Opportunities are there on the path. So you are more open. I think you are more. Your mind is more open if you're slow.
yeah,
So slowness
you can
gives.
see. Yeah.
You can see, right? At least. So if you are riding a bike, can you see both side?
Mm,
If you're running so fast,
mm,
you
mm,
cannot. So maybe you are going to see a wildlife, maybe, right? Sanctuary somewhere.
mm,
You want to see a
mm.
tiger, something. You're driving so fast to reach there. What if there was a tiger spotted somewhere, or maybe a
On the road. Yeah.
elephant spotted on the left side, and you're driving so fast you couldn't see it.
Mm.
So so far, I mean, achievement doesn't mean that you have to run. You just have to be consistent, right? Um, just consistent,
Consistent and conscious.
conscious, and running fast. You will be consistent, but you are also running fast because you want it to be temporary, like you want to just achieve. So
Mm.
consistent and conscious, I think the
Yeah.
right definition of
Beautiful.
maybe helps. Yeah.
All right. In the, I think last couple of questions maybe. I know this is a card which is in front of me, which is written
Oh,
by you. And do I have a permission to show that card?
yeah. What is it? I also wanted to see. I'm like kind of almost lost. What did I write? Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what you have written. I don't
I
know if you
am
can see this.
present, limitless, blessed, forgiving. I'm a runner. Enjoy problem solving. I'm a universe whisperer, full of love and kindness, works from nothingness. Yeah, that's all sums up. That's what I talked.
Yeah. So tell me, these are very powerful. Like, I'm limitless, I'm blessed, I'm forgiving, I'm a runner, I'm
Hmm,
problem solving, I'm loving kindness, I work from nothingness, I'm a universe whisperer.
hmm.
So I'm curious to know more about now core Deepak. I think this is what we are talking, the core Deepak,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So now if I have to just ask that question again, who is Deepak?
Hmm.
So and tell me some of some of the aspect of the Deepak here.
Yeah. So, and a lot of things I wrote down there are now, these are not like, it just, I think all are connecting to very same, fundamental concept. Like, I think two, maybe one or two or three, like
Mm,
nothingness, being in present. It's like same. Sometimes, you are stuck.
mm,
Sometimes you feel like not moving
mm,
anywhere. Like, either you are solving a problem solving, or you are doing something, and maybe you took a wrong path. Sometime it happens. Sometimes happens when I cook, or maybe while cooking, I made some mistake, because I was not present, and then it feels like, oh, today the curry will not be that nice. You get that feel way earlier than it is done, because
mm,
it did not go as per plan, because you missed some, maybe you missed adding, one of the spices at the right point of time, and then you get that feel that, oh no, it will not be a good outcome. And there is a chance you can still make an awesome outcome
mm,
by slowing down, saying that okay, it has gone, all right, fine, right? Let's invent something new. I don't know what will happen if I put the same spice at a later point of time, or maybe take a deroot. If you need it to be fried, then put it in a separate pan, fry it, and then put it. There are a lot of ways there. It's not gone.
Hmm.
It's not like messed up, right? So nothingness is like, what if I start something different, something stuck? Let's try this, try that, kind of thing. And it has
Hmm.
always worked for me. And
So
there are
you
main,
used to come back to the nothingness means zero and then start from there. You got
yeah. So
stuck,
I'll
you
leave
came
your
from
worries.
zero.
Yeah, yeah. Leave your worries behind. Say that you're not biased by your past outcome. Maybe you did something wrong, right? Maybe
Hmm.
you did not add the spice, which is fine. Then still, how can you make a unique outcome? How can you create
Hmm.
something? And if you are not limited, maybe you'll create something better, right? Maybe you'll invent something. So nothingness, as in I did some decision. Now I'm starting fresh. I'm thinking better. Um, Not being biased, and I'm open to the result, right? Let it wherever it goes, and
Not
then I
being biased.
kind of experiment as well,
Yeah.
and then not being biased. So that's like being present, whatever you call it, like being present as in present from nothing. And that is the one coined by you, being nothingness. So
Yeah.
word helps. Again, I mean, there are a lot of things inside, but my definition of being nothingness helps me. um,
Yeah, your definition. So I used to say many things in our conversation, but how you receive is the key,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? How do you see that is the key. And you have seen something amazing here.
um,
So can I just say that? And I don't know, like if that is really possible for people
mhm,
to even imagine, but
mm,
whatever you are currently being into that superhuman
mhm,
mindset, I would say,
mm.
right? So can I say that you can achieve anything in your life?
Why
You
not?
can do anything in your life?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's all about we limit. So yesterday I was talking to my sister. She was like, she had an exam. She was saying that there is an exam on Monday. I have to
Hmm.
prepare for it. I was like, why you have to prepare for your exam? Is it not something that you wanted? I was like, I said, okay, imagine there is no exam in the world. Like, there is no exam. So you study and then you go home.
Hmm.
Will you happy? Like, you studied for 6 months and there is no exam. So it's like, no, I want to give exam at least. But like, why are you so worried about it? And then I was like, okay, who is the topper? So she was saying there is some guy they always make. I also had the same impression. Some people make 90%, 100%. I was like, okay, do you think about making those? Like, is it something that has happened to you? Like, I can, like, no, those are different people. Those are like, they make, they're like, is it? And well, you don't have that, or is it like you don't want to do that? Maybe you never thought about making 90%. Is it somewhere
Hmm.
written that I cannot make 90% or 100%? It's not written anywhere.
Hmm.
She was like, no, no, it's not. I then start thinking, it's only me that I think that I cannot achieve 90% or 100%. And we
Hmm.
this limitation in our head, right? Like, I'm a
Yeah.
six, I'm a average guy. I'm like, I can only achieve 60%. Hey, I never reach 100%. It cannot be,
Hmm.
not possible. So I think definitely, if you ask me something can be done, I definitely say no, because it can, if it can be done by someone else with the right work, definitely it will take effort. It will take, but if you don't think about finishing it, like, so if you're not in hurry, it's all about wanting something
Hmm.
and you are in for it from inside. Like, it's not like you just have to do it. So the limit that you want to accomplish, are you first, is it the limit that, is it something that you want from inside? And if
Hmm.
the answer is yes, are you ready for, are you ready to devote yourself to it? Can you listen? Can you just like listen and not do anything and just listen to that problem, that whatever you're trying to do,
Mm.
and give yourself to it. Like patience वहां पे भी चाहिए. You need the patience right there also. Not like कि,
Patience.
okay, I mean, है ना, I want to. Please give me the result. No, wait. You just do your thing. Wait for the
Okay.
outcome, right?
Mm. So what you're
That,
saying is very deep, Deepak, like do not worry about the outcome. Drop the outcome continuously, being
uh,
into the present state,
hmm.
and then let that doing happens automatically.
And I've seen it happens.
Yeah.
In the moment, most of the time, I think you have talked about it multiple times. We don't drop the outcome.
Mm.
We are so much attached to the outcome that it changes the direction, and we don't realize.
Yeah.
So if we drop that outcome, we'll maybe achieve much more than what we even thought.
Yeah. You have this now innate capability of dropping the outcome, being into the present, and literally feeling, being
Hmm.
confident that I can achieve anything what I wanted by being into the present state,
Hmm.
slowing down to the level of life,
Hmm.
and all those coming from nothingness, and
Hmm.
then seeing the word differently, open to receive the wisdom, and let that doing happens. Now, being into that state, if if there would have something fundamentally shifted in you, because not every person would be able to feel the same way like you are doing now. So what is one shift, if you can just pause, take a pause and breathe, and then see what is the one fundamental shift that has led you to this kind of thinking? I know it's a very deep question,
Hmm.
but how did you, like, simple, like how did you really achieve to that level?
I think that is only one answer: by being present.
And what kind of thinking you have added in your mind so that you started being present? It's easier to say
Yeah,
that, yeah, I wanted to be present.
yeah, yeah. There are a lot of things. So being present is the key. How to being present again is not much. It's very fundamental. I think that's how you described yourself. That giving abilities, um,
Mm,
not giving as in, like, again, not outcome. So you are
mm,
giving. You're not expecting that to come to you. The result. You are just giving, and then listening to it, listening to changes, listening to the ecosystem, and so something. So by when I say being present, we can also look the other way. What is stopping me from being present? And the answer is very clear. So let's say I'm here, and I did realize that sometimes we got lost, right, in the conversation.
yeah.
So whenever we were not lost, what was the here it will not be the case because we are almost lost. Anytime when I start thinking about, if I'm not being in present, what are the cases? So mostly it will be like, you know, you're thinking about something in future, something has not happened yet. For example, I have to file income tax returns. Maybe
Mm,
you're thinking, right? Maybe keep thinking. So worries about future, worries about some. Let's say, hey, I have to give. Today is Saturday, Sunday. I should not do this. I should give time to my family. I should do
mm,
that kind of. So I'm saying all these. Why it is in the head? Are you not doing that? Do you not
mm,
have time for it? So by being present, there were people, I think, initially in initial time they were more present, and we have added too many chaotic things to us. So
mm,
for example, if I'm always there, always listening to for my family, mostly let's say my wife or my kids, if I'm listening to them always, and they know that I'm always present, this thought will never bother me that today is a Sunday and I have to take them for something, because all the
mm,
time I'm there with them. Any weekdays, I can easily take 2 hours. I've seen people have a lot of time. Any weekdays,
mm,
and because I'm not worried about, so I will do today this stuff, right? I'll do it. That's on me. I'll do it. I want to get 2 hour of time. Let's say my wife wants to go out. Fine. Because that's my maybe a better priority, and I'm listening to them. So once they know that I'm there, that thought will never worry me. That you have to be,
Mm.
you have to be there on weekend. Did you do something for them? Um, so if we keep eliminating, small thing by applying the right right thoughts, listening to the right thing. And I've seen so many people on the mobile thinking too much about, anyway you're wasting your energy right there, and the mobile is not going to help you. So
Mm.
so keep worries, leave the worries, slow down, so you have time for things, so your mind will start relaxing. So I'm not saying that I'm 100% my mind is like relaxed. I'm working
Mm.
on it, and that's a good
You're working
definition.
on it.
I'm
Yeah.
working on it. So I'm making my relationship better. I'm making my work better by solving the problem and not juggling between mobile here and there. A lot of things. Sure, there is an income tax that has to be filed. I'll file it. Why to keep thinking about it, right? What happens if you don't
Mm.
do it today? Maybe it moves to 5 days. They will charge you some money, but worrying about is a bigger problem, right?
Yeah,
Worrying about is a bigger problem. And why to
it
keep
is.
thinking? Slot, put a slot, and that point of time being present in doing the income tax, and do it
Mm.
at that point of
Yeah,
time. Like instead
yeah.
of keep
Yeah,
thinking. So oh
this
bola aisa na
is,
doing. I think you only said right doing.
yeah,
Matlab, like do it. Like why to keep thinking and lot like
yeah, yeah. Drop the thinking and just do it. Anyways, you have to do that. You would do that,
correct
right?
kind of.
Yeah.
I think we other definition agar pata kar le, we know what is not letting us in being present, and
Mm.
you sort out thing, then you are in present already. And उसमें
It
वो भी आया
seems,
था. Yeah, one
yeah,
thing that I wanted to highlight. So
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
lot of times we hold lot of thoughts inside. Like let's say you had a fight with you went on a road, you went or buy something, and then some guy, you are in a queue, you know, in the billing counter, someone came and then came in front of you in the middle.
Mm.
Now if you have the thought of hating that, then you'll think a lot, and the thought will not go. It has happened, right? It happens. Like if you do lot of people have potential to give put put a seed in your head,
Yeah.
and those are, I think, they're the most, because you're interacting with a lot of things, and a lot of things put seed in your head. And only way to not put that seed in your head is like, this is fine. People, I was there, and some people came in the middle. Maybe they had a better need. Maybe they were hurrying for it, right? Maybe someone was hungry, waiting for maybe their kid. So letting people go, same wala traffic situation, letting people go
Letting
traffic
go.
mein, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Giving nature helped me a lot. Like giving nature,
Mhm.
it helped
Yeah.
me removing worries from my head and being in present.
Being improved. Yeah, this
All
is
this
so
trying to
profound.
do
So, yeah.
I mean, sometimes people will wonder, like, oh, giving and forgiving, how come it is related to being present, the magic?
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask that same question. Tell
It
me
is
more
very much
about that.
related. It took half of my worries, just like giving and forgiving
Mm.
nature. The reason I asked, like, hey, Kapil, how to be in present? And you said, like,
Yeah.
there are not many things, like be forgiving nature, being a giving nature, and showing the gratitude of what you have. So that's what I did. I mean, a lot of things went away.
I remember those conversations between you when you were very curious, being an analytical minded person
Mm-hmm.
and dropping that analysis. Look, it seems to
Yeah.
me that you have dropped your analysis thinking.
Huh.
And has it really, and some people, like I remember coaching few people, like, yeah, this is my bread and butter, like this is how I have been survived so far, and now you're saying that drop this analysis skills which I have been acquired for years.
Hmm. I
So it seems to me that being an from an analytical minded person to an open minded person where you're open to receive the wisdom from
yeah,
anywhere,
yeah,
right? And this is what is making you lead this kind of a life.
yeah, yeah. And more of a practice, more and more you apply, you see the better results. And again,
Practice.
the reason many, so you said like, but a lot of people will not receive it. Many seen result you have not seen such a, because people are hurrying up, hurrying up to again see the wisdom, hurrying up to change that
Mm,
analytical mind to some mind. Like you just
mm,
want something in, let's believe in doing, right? Changing. Things will come up.
yeah. Focus on
Yeah,
doing.
it will come up. Like let's enjoy the process. Let's enjoy
Yeah.
the moment and
Enjoy the
forget
moment,
about.
enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if I have to just sum up this entire thing, there was a version of Deepak who came for something, who was, yeah, who was a runner, who was
Hmm.
a, like, who had done 10, 15, 20, I don't know how many marathons, and
Hmm.
then who is coming from, who has achieved a lot of things in his life. His
Yeah.
relationship was sorted, everything
Hmm.
was sorted. Still, you choose to be coached. Still, you choose to read your mind. Still, you choose to discover yourself.
Yeah.
And within 3 to 3.5 months,
Hmm.
and I think midway only, you have
Yeah.
achieved these levels. And
Yeah.
then I remember in our last conversation, you said to me that, Kapil, there is nothing to talk. Let's talk open,
Yeah.
right? And then just I think 6 to 7 sessions. And then, so what? So 3.5 months. Is it really possible for people in 3.5 months they live the kind of life you're living?
Yeah. Definitely. If it is possible for me, then possible for others. It's again slowing down, not
Hmm.
just thinking about what others, not just thinking the same way what others are, right? Like believing, thinking from your point of view, what do you want is more important. Like for example, I never wanted to have a easy, like like something that Kapil gives me and I digest. More of like how it is making sense to me. Is it working for me in real life, right? Applying it from and then truly working on yourself. People will come to many help, right? We have studied that's the same thing. Like you've gone for a lot of coaching in your life, and by only being present and listening to yourself and to whoever is coaching you is the key. It is
Yeah.
achievable. It's all about what do you want. Maybe there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to just achieve one thing, right? Nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe I want to be chaotic in my life, but I just want to be different in a different thing, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But whatever you are looking for, if you put attention to it, listen to what is actual need, and listen, truly apply it, not just hurrying up again. So I
Yeah.
think it is feasible, not something. It's not a science, like rocket science, something. It's not normal.
Yeah. It's not rocket science. It's not
Yeah,
rocket science. It's normal. It's
it's
normal. It
normal.
is
It's
absolutely.
all about how much you are devoted for yourself. And the
Yeah.
reason I so even though I was quite good, I never had a need. Um,
Yeah.
I still then I thought like, oh, there are a lot of unknowns which I have not discovered, and living an extraordinary life tapped here. Like,
Mm.
let's find out what is missing, what is different. Maybe something I have not looked from a different perspective, right?
Different
So instead
perspective.
of keep thinking from your mindset, whatever you have, can you just be no one, like normal? Like, okay, let's open. We are not open. We go to the same restaurant, expect the same food. And if it is not the same way, we say it is bad, right?
And
So
sometimes it happens with when you go for a haircut.
yeah,
Same
like
guy, no, I want same guy. I will go travel 6 10 kilometers because that is the
yeah,
guy I wanted. Yeah,
yes. And every time I not do that, I've always discovered something amazing. Like me
yeah.
and my wife, we love uh, whenever we go to Kerala, we
Mm.
don't miss our kind of food. And the way that they
Mm.
when we are open to it, the food, the local food is so amazing.
Mm.
And many instances, Kapil, like when you actually open to something which you have not seen, maybe just try
Mm.
out, right? See how it open to it, openness. So we, while coming from Kerala, we wanted to stay on a same. We just wanted to take a break at the same restaurant because
Yeah.
things are familiar. It looked nice. We didn't do it, and we end up stopping at a different one, and this was more amazing. So imagine.
I wanted to I wanted to share. Sorry, just one thought came to my mind. I
uh,
don't want to miss it.
uh,
Yesterday, my I was getting coached by my coach, and
uh,
that guy said something very profound and deep in me. That, Kapil, are you open to see that bitterness of Karela? And he was the one. He said he used to, yeah, Karela. Oh no, no way. I cannot have that. And then suddenly he started to experience that. Oh, let me just try that one more time,
hmm,
even though acceptance is not there. And he chewed it and he has tasted fully present in that moment. And he
listening.
saw that something
uh,
bitterness ke baad, like something after the
yeah,
bitterness, some kind of a taste which you are not even aware about it.
correct.
It is having some unique taste
Yeah,
which people including me is not even aware, and I'm going to try that.
correct. You will just reject Karela. Who eats that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a lot of people like Karela, right? So there's something different. It's different. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just different. And maybe
Different.
you have not opened yourself. So same
Mm.
concept works so many times. Like we are not opening ourselves. And let's keep yourself
Open. Yeah.
open. That's where universe
Open
whisperer
system.
comes into picture. uh,
Yes, yes, yes.
I always believed कि मतलब there's some connection, so just be open. uh, you won't know what you will find.
I have learned so much from this conversation. You can't believe
For
it,
me,
Deepak.
it was, I didn't know it will go that way. It just feels like another open session where we
Yeah.
used to just open and talk, and a lot of suddenly I was so happy because I discovered something in those sessions.
Openly talk. Yeah. You are the first
Hmm.
person being a client. I have realized that, yeah, I would want to work with this
Hmm.
guy. So, I think I have declared this to you as well, right? So you are one of person who I love to work, Deepak, and I'm open to work with you anytime. And yeah, so this is something very profound shift in me where most of the time I see a lot of coaches around who say that, yeah, I, I let me just have this guy in my life, or like, and you are one of them actually. So you
Hmm.
inspired me as well, and this is the time and the session in which we are witnessing it now. So thank you for that being into my life.
That's a win. I'm so happy that, oh my god, I didn't know. That's a magic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For me, it's a
It's
magic that
win-win.
you felt that way. That's a magic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
And
wanted to declare that, tell it to you as well. Yeah, openly.
um, so
Yeah,
I think all credit, all the gratitude goes to slowness, listening, all
yeah.
the loving, exceptional skills that we have, loving
Yes,
kindness. That it helped a lot.
yes, yes, yes. And these has been looks like a guiding principle now in your life.
That's all. I think just five, six thing, nothing else.
Nothing else. We don't need to complicate it.
Wide-minded, open-minded, and four, five, whatever we have.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the key.
So with this, can I say that your relationship, your professional life, your everything in your life has been improved? The
Yeah,
quality of life has been improved?
that's like the magic, right? Not only improved. I'll say it's like
Hmm. Hmm.
not only improved. What do you call it? It's like extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Yeah.
Huh. Why just not only improve it? Like I could not whisper something more. I mean, this is something that maybe there is something more, but that's something I'm happy with. That's something that
Yeah.
so moments are I'm enjoying, and then that's extraordinary for me.
Mm. So if I have to just ask just one final question, what's next for you in your life?
What's next?
Yeah.
What next is something that I don't know, and I also don't want to restrict. To me, it
Yeah.
seems like yesterday I was talking to my wife, and I was like, I don't know why people are hurrying up for anything. The life is so big, so long, and so
Mm.
opportunistic, right? So
Mm.
I'll be open. I'll let myself discover things,
Mm.
and
Mm.
in any direction it wants to go, I will listen to it. I listen to my
Mm.
body. I will listen to my
Mm.
mind,
Mm.
and I listen to universe, and I let it
Mm.
navigate me. And
Beautiful.
I'll be doing is like just playing a role. I'm just playing a role.
Mm.
So I'll be um, whatever I do, I'll be continuous, conscious, as you mentioned, and
Mm.
that's it. It will, and I'm sure that it will navigate to a very the journey will be really nice. At least not known. Unknown journeys are beautiful, and that's what I think people are uh, fond of. At the end, looking back, people will say that I found those many surprises. But looking back, now looking forward, I'm saying I'm
Mm.
open to surprises. Um, I will
Open to
just be
surprise.
fundamental,
Surprise.
slowly,
Yeah.
and let it take through the journey. Yeah,
Beautiful.
and
Yeah.
look backward, I'll say magic happened.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this wisdom. Yeah. So let's be present in this moment. I wanted to just spend 15 more seconds to ourselves in our mind, and
Yeah,
just be present to say a heartful thank to all the people in our life who has came to our life and being grateful about them. So you can recall as many as people in your mind. And if you wanted to express anything, you can do that as well.
yeah, and I felt a heart, like whatever comes from heart, right? Like loving, that gratitude for yourself, for being open and being in for our open discussions, where I somehow felt
Mm,
like, oh, I don't have anything to discuss, and is it good, is it not? And we always
mm,
like, why not? Let's discuss open. So being there always for anything that I
mm,
had to talk and discuss, and listening, which is a very amazing skill. Like that's something that I am so I always cherish, and you are in my head always guiding. Uh, so I keep hearing you,
mm,
Deepak, slow down, uh, kind of that way. So Deepak, just give, not receive, kind of. So you're always there, and you made your place. I'm so glad that we met. Um, and again, I maybe that's the universe, right? So we will meet again, and in the universe we are
yeah.
connected. So I don't think so I'm very far, or I'm connected always in my mind. So I'm not going anywhere, and you are not going anywhere. So in the universe we are connected, and I'm so happy with that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Deepak, for being. Let's end this conversation. Thank you for being there. I really wanted to say thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.